I am ready to give the people what they want, which apparently is more drafts.
Then I'm ready as well.
Well, then, ready, set, go. Let's do it.
Stop, drop, and roll.
What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. So, we originally wanted to talk about, I think it was Kiss Me by New Found Glory, and we didn't know if we could pull a full episode out of that. So we decided to go what?
I just looked at my notes. I hate this already.
It's going to be brutal. We are doing a pop punk cover draft, which is just way too many songs. We have a couple rules, and we would like you all to play along as well. But basically, what are your top 10 picks for the best songs that were covered by pop punk bands between the years 2000 and 2010, and they can't all be from the Pop Goes series, which they probably wouldn't be because most of them are garbage. So that's
the takes out of the gate. The people have come. They are listening, and the takes they will get.
And the takes shall set them free.
The takes.
Okay, so how do you want to do this? We're just
same as always. It's going to have to start with a roll of the die of some kind. But yeah, I was thinking 10 rounds. We each get a or like, no way, dude, that's not a fair pick per game this time, I think, like this episode. So you get one nix. And something that I always end up doing at the end is saying, oh, wait, I need to trade one out. We get one tradesies. One tradesies in round 10.
I don't agree with the tradesies.
If you're oh, but if only it would benefit you and me.
But all my picks are
you.
Perfect from the get go. So,
Tom, I don't even want to. I didn't even want to take it here, but I smoked your ass at the Valentine's Day draft. Like it wasn't even close, and that's the only instance of it being that lopsided.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like. It's just a proposal. We don't have to insert that. You're right. We just need to be better pickers and be better prepared. I'm nervous for this one because it's such a wide range. Yeah, like you said, we wanted to do an episode for Kiss Me by New Found Glory, the cover, mostly because the music video is pretty good. Hayley Williams makes an appearance. There's a lot going on, but we didn't feel like there was quite enough, I guess. I don't know. We wanted to dig a little deeper, so we wanted to turn it into a draft because people seem to like those. And yeah. Thank you to anyone who's tweeting at _reminiscentfm and letting us know how you feel. But yeah, this is where we are on this fine week. And I think 10 rounds is fair for this one.
Yeah, there's a lot. I've got like 20 that I could choose at any second. I know there's going to be a couple that we're going to be fighting over.
Oh, here's a proposal for a rule. If you win the roll, you get to choose whether or not you want to go first or second and third.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because depending on if there's a majority number one pick or like something that would seem obvious, it depends how you want to play it. But yeah, I think that I wouldn't mind inserting that one.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's add that rule. So I've got my two dice here. They are laser cut wood dice with a marble in the middle. As you know, I love telling the stories. So I've got them here. It's
a good item. That's what I'm saying. Like last time, I listened back to the last time we did a draft, and I don't think it came off that I was poking fun, just because I wish I took that amount of pride in anything I owned. Is really all I was trying to say. Those things are laser cut.
Freaking laser beams, man. All right, I'm gonna roll them. Let's. Do you want to be evens or odds?
I'll be odds.
Odds. All right, I'm going to roll them both here. We've got a 4 and a 4 for a total of 8.
All right. Do you want to go first or second and third?
I'm going to go first.
Alrighty.
You know why.
Sure.
There's a song that is very special to us all.
Oh, okay.
It was the very first song that I played with what ended up becoming Four Under Par, our high school band. And it was simple enough for a bunch of 12-year-olds to play. Didn't even know it was a cover at the time. And we started off with like 8 people in my bedroom, just kind of messing around. And I think, who was it? Was it James or Zach that said, hey, why don't we play 99 Red Balloons by Goldfinger? And that became our first cover song, the first song we played as a group. And I just had to take that one. Maybe I'm way off base and you didn't really care that much about it, but...
No, as soon as you said it, it's important. I remember it was one of the few times I actually practiced the bass, was trying to get the dun 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 dun. It's like one of the few riffs I can even play on a guitar neck to this day, because I don't play very often at all. But yeah, that's a good pick. It's an important pick, because I remember Dave Hall and some people from that were in marching band saying like, yeah, Tom has like more versions than you'd expect to exist of that song on his iPod right now. And I just remember like there was at least one marching band season, which, as far as I could tell, bits and pieces of hearsay, that you would spend many a ride home listening. So you deserve it. You honestly, it's more your song than it is mine.
So I probably could have let it go till around 3 or 4 years.
No. Don't get me wrong. I was going to snatch it up for sure.
Okay.
It is kind of, see, that's where I like that new rule, because it's like, that was the golden artifact, or that was the snitch. I didn't even pick a story to reference. I just said artifact, and never mind. That was like the worst thing my brain's ever done.
The general prized possession.
Yes. Yeah. I should be a writer for Jumanji 2. Just kidding. That's a joke that admits that I've seen it in theaters, so because it's not on DVD yet. So
is that what you saw last week?
We've been seeing a lot of movies, but we did see that one just because we thought it'd be for funsies. But it's kind of like, if you make $1 billion movie, you can't not make a sequel, because just financially it wouldn't make sense to sit on it, and you could tell for sure. But I love Jack Black enough that I have no choice but to stand. What can I say? Okay, so I get to finish out round 1 and start round 2 with picks 2 and 3. I'm going to go ahead and say that, well, first of all, Goldfinger, it's tough because they had kind of their peak in the late 90s technically, but there's the Tony Hawk Pro Skater episode sitting out there that we haven't quite been able to wrap our heads around. But yeah, this song was so good and was very important to us. I'm going to pick... My number 1 pick is going to be Paramore's cover of Hero by the Foo Fighters.
Oh, dude. I totally forgot about that. That is strong. Again.
I listened to it on YouTube. Oh, go ahead.
No, I didn't know that was a cover for years.
So basically, I didn't even realize. I hate this show for so many reasons. I love it for so many more reasons, but... I listened to it on YouTube the other day. Well, I should say this. During the last draft, you referenced the song The Best Thing by Relient K and like a specific memory that had left my brain, and about some people from some study hall that we were hanging out with or whatever. And I spent the next 4 days just listening to that song on repeat, punishing myself, basically, just one of those, because my wife was out of town on a work trip. I was just, lying in the middle of the living room floor, like letting the song happen to me. I referenced that habit often on the show, just trying to remember. But it's not only was I upset because I could feel the emotion that the song at one point had brought me, I couldn't remember the specific memory itself. So it was like impacting me in all the negative emotional ways, but also I wasn't even getting the gratification of the memory itself.
Oh, God.
So certain little moments of this show will send me spiraling for literal days, just like, oh man, at the time it was the best thing that could have been happening. Anyway, I was watching or listening to this on YouTube. I was like, this was another perfect example of like, I don't remember what I needed this song for, but it was, whatever it was heavy as shit. So like, if you listen to it, it's like peak Haley, right in her wheelhouse. They do an acoustic version of it. It hits so hard. I didn't realize how much I must have listened to this song in my life until kind of doing this episode. I would have no reason to revisit it, but weirdly important, weirdly impactful. So I don't know if you have any specific memories of spending any time with it, but
I don't have specifics, but I do remember spending quite a bit of time with this song. But locations, emotions, all of that are totally failing me right now.
Sure. Well, let's just turn up the heat a little bit on the draft. I'm going to pick a Newfound Glory song.
Ooh.
But this is going to be a power move because I think I can still win by picking Not What You Think.
Okay.
And that's saying something because that gives you the other one and 99 Red Balloons on the return. I'm going to pick The Promise from Screen to Your Stereo.
Dude, that's always the song you reference when I say 80s music kind of sucks.
Yes, because it's a good song. There's like country versions of that song. There's a quote from the country artist that covered it, and it slips in my mind whoever he or she was. The 80s weren't a bad music decade. The Tools were just weirder, right? So The Promise is just a fundamentally terrific song, and it lends itself so well to the Newfound Glory sound. It's one of my favorite songs ever, one of my favorite covers of all time. So yeah, I'm going to have to say that, I do enjoy... There has to be a rule about limiting the Newfound Glory and 4 Year Strong cover albums themselves, I guess. I don't know. There's so many rules that could, I guess, butcher this whole process, but we haven't hit that limit yet. So yeah, I'm going to go Paramore's cover of Foo Fighters' Hero and Newfound Glory's cover of The Promise off of Screen to Your Stereo. Just because Kiss Me is such a classic, but
yeah,
I don't know. The Promise is so good. I think I just have a personal bias to that one, and I know you like the other one so much as well. I don't know. Let's keep it. We don't have to put the knives out yet. Let's keep the knives in.
Well, I'm realizing right now that I thought I had a ton on my list, but some of them were like too modern, so I have to take those and put them on to honorable mentions. And my list is falling really short because I was trying to I don't think we mentioned it. I explicitly did not want cover bands. So Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, you can do an entire draft of just their songs.
Add one on.
Well, first of all,
if it's a here's a sub rule. If it's a freaking classic, then it should count.
Well,
I'll either use my or not.
Okay, well, either they're too old or it's a cover band. I didn't want to do too many cover albums. Like, I thought it would be more charming to torture ourselves even more to try to find the one-offs, not the punk goes pop, not the cover albums, just like, oh, this band did this thing for fun, because there's far fewer of those. Oh, man. And, Dan Campbell just put out a Taylor Swift cover of All Too Well like a couple months ago.
I know. I hope that this show grows so much that we have to go through 2011 to 2020 when, like, what our adulthood consumption habits were.
Totally.
But we have barely scratched the surface on a decade we are originally trying to mine in the name of content. Feels so silly even saying the word.
That's all this is, folks. Just content.
That's right.
Digest it.
Noise into the void.
All right. So my next two are going to be heavy hitters.
Bring it.
Semi-Charmed Life by 4 Year Strong.
Ooh.
So I have a video of, we had a drag party at our house.
Dude, this is just going to come down to which Newfound Glory and which 4 Year Strong covers we pick and what our personal preferences are.
Were you going to pick that one?
No, I am going to pick one, but it wasn't going to be that one.
Ooh.
That's right.
It's ironic. It's ironic, isn't it?
Okay. Well, I don't know. I already told a story on the show before. I might have to repeat myself about embarrassing myself. We'll get to that if we get to it. Okay. I could go 3. I could go 3 out of my 10 off that album.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
I could do 4, Pat. So,
Well, we just did the the 4 Year Strong Rise or Die Trying episode.
Right.
And of course, my eyes came upon, Jesus, what the hell's going on this week? Sorry, everybody, for everything at all times. But, their cover album came up on my, Apple Music, and I've been listening to it hardcore because, again, we always tease the, hypothetical Say Anything self-titled summer where I listen to only that and the 4 Year Strong cover album that I biked around Erie to. But, God, it's so good. That's a good pick. Semi-Charmed Life. Do you think they do it justice? Do you think they do it better, or it's just a good cover for a cover?
I don't want to use the word better. I'm pretty hesitant to do that with any cover songs, but when I listen to The Third Eye Blind, the original version of Semi-Charmed Life, I feel like it's missing some energy because 4 Year Strong brings so much to the table. in that song, and the guitar
Oh my
work is
God,
just
dude.
silly. Dude, it's good. It's so good.
When I heard, and this won't impact the draft, I don't think, Roll to Me by Del Amitri, when you hear the 4 Year Strong thing and it makes you want to just like make an empire disappear with your bare hands and rocks and stuff, like, yeah. You listen to the Del Amitri thing and it's just like all acoustic. He's playing what probably is a fiddle. Like there's a fiddle involved, I guess. I guess you would have to assume. It isn't. I'm butchering this, but like it's all acoustic. It's so 90s and you're just like, huh, great song. Love the lyrics. This is one of my favorite songs of all time. Hits a little softer, a touch softer. Yeah, Del Amitri, I guess. You wouldn't assume, I don't know. But yeah, it's tough because you get used to a certain way of thinking about things, which I'm guessing your next pick will be another example of that, because how often do you revisit Sixpence?
Right. So, yeah, I love the song and I love the cover. The energy is great.
Refresh my memory. Did they manage to work gang vocals into it?
Every 5 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course they did. Who do you think we're talking about?
And feel free to give me the buzzer on the next one.
Ooh.
Because it's a specific thing, but Cartel.
Dude, what do you... Oh, you're banking that because I already picked a Newfound Glory song that I won't double up. Are you taking that chance right now, my guy?
Oh yeah. I don't think you want the Newfound Glory song that I want.
I know, but you're leaving arguably the best one on the table, which makes me question why I even picked the...
I don't know.
You're in my head.
You're curious to see
you go pick that Cartel song. You go right ahead. You go do what you feel you need to.
So again, me being horribly uncultured. Well, okay. Our friend Dan Majeski, who I went to middle school with from like first grade and on, he went to the same high school as us. And he was pretty into metal. He was the one that got me into Linkin Park for the past Linkin Park and Something Corporate episode, the weirdest mashup we've ever attempted. But what were we thinking?
If you've been with us since then, sincerely, thank you.
So we did that. It was super weird. Got a ton of downloads somehow.
Just for SEO, it was just like 2 popular album titles that would happen to be in a headline.
Right. So he told me I should listen to Cartel. I thought it was going to be like some grindcore metal band, and I slept on it for a long time. And then finally, I think my mom had one of those old like 27-inch CRTVs, the really huge Sharp TV, and I don't know when that happened, but you know, the channel 300s or whatever, there was one called AOL Sessions, and they would play basically like Audio Tree Live type thing in the studio. You perform live, and I saw Cartel. They played Honestly, Say Anything, and then they played Wonderwall, and it was so intense and dramatic. And Will's voice was like absolutely fucking flawless. And again, did not know it was a cover. But sometime sophomore year in high school, we went over to Dan's house, which was like 2 blocks from my old house, actually. And we were filming a video, and I was like, hey, I checked out Cartel. Their song Wonderwall is like really good. And he was like, yeah, that's an Oasis song. And I was like, who's Oasis? Just like totally 15 and stupid as you know, not able to appreciate where we came from and whatnot. But there is an album version of Wonderwall that pales in comparison to the AOL live session of Wonderwall by Cartel. So when you hear this on the Apple Music and the Spotify playlist, it will not be the version I'm talking about. In the show notes, I will have the AOL session live version. Can I specifically draft that version, even though it's not an album recording? It is a live recording? Okay.
People have been on Twitter because we referenced Dashboards Unplugged during the Valentine's Day draft. People on Twitter were getting after us and saying that they preferred certain versions from the Unplugged session and stuff. I think there's a real thirst for good live versions. I mean, why else would they come out with live albums, right? Like, there's obviously something special about it, especially with intimate sessions like that on a soundstage where it's not going to be too outrageous and be pretty close. Also, the guitar in that song, the lead guitar at the end,
Oh my God.
mesmerizing and I don't know, demands your attention, important, whatever you want to say, whatever we've used on the show for years, but oddly, like a song that has become a frat bro staple for a minute there, Cartel was like kind of made it their own out of seemingly against all odds, right? I mean, the guitar, the way it goes out with the guitar at the end is, I don't know, it gives you pause almost, right? I don't think I'm being overly dramatic.
I mean, he's absolutely ripping like a 64 bar guitar solo, like half the length of the song. And it's like he's flexing, but it totally captures the emotion of the song. And there's
it's like the tone is right or something, or the volume is right.
Dude, I mean, everything about that recording is perfect. And Will's voice is perfect for it. Everything about that cover is just, it is a Desert Island Hall of Famer all-timer for me in terms of covers.
Whoa. We haven't done a Desert Island episode in a while.
Oh, we should. I think that would probably have been my first pick if I wasn't trying to play this strategically and keep you from getting songs.
Last time we did a Desert Island episode,
I butchered it.
We just did. Yeah. I don't think the rules were very clear. It's albums you would want to listen to for all time, like all-time albums. And I don't think we were really thought about it enough, but I don't know, maybe we should redo it or just do 5 songs or something, but I don't know. There's another game to be had there. We just have to spend some time thinking about it. Do you have another pick by chance?
I just did 2.
Just did 2. That's right. You left me with Kiss Me by Newfound Glory, which I'm not going to pick at the moment.
Backspace, backspace.
Yeah, I'm leaving you on the ellipses are blinking on your screen. I'm thinking, I'm typing, I'm looking for a come up.
Whoa, this is fucking awesome.
Which it is. It's fun. It's fun to do. Okay, here's one that I know I could save, but I just love it so much. Streetlight Manifesto's cover of Such Great Heights that came out in 2010.
Ooh.
Their horn section does what the electronic beat is in shocking accuracy with, yeah. It's really a masterpiece. And then it goes full ska skanking riff after that intro. But the intro is special. I think it's, just from a cover standpoint, for a ska band to take a horn section and recapture what the Postal Service was. Actually, we'll see how many songs from Give Up get taken today. Quite honestly, it shows you how important we've done an episode on the album. But it meant a lot to a lot of people, seemingly, because if it even reached Streetlight Manifesto and some of the other bands we'll reference later, but I think it's a good cover just from a skill standpoint. Like, wow, they didn't just like throw on the distorted guitar and just zip through it. Like, they didn't just do, anyway, not to knock what 4 Years Strong and Newfound Glory did, but, it felt like there was some legit effort put into it.
Yeah.
Here's where I'm going to go next, just because I'm curious where you're...
Sorry, before we move on, can I give a huge shout out by someone that doesn't need it right now?
Oh, yeah, please.
There's a YouTube channel called SkaTune Network.
Yes, please. Yes.
Dude, it is one guy who plays trumpet, sings, plays guitar, bass. I think the drums might be programmed. He did a cover of, was it Basket Case in ska? Like, he covers these songs in a ska
It's basically
fashion.
Our podcast, but ska covers.
It's
like
so
it's that wheelhouse.
good. It is so good.
It's upsettingly good. It's terrific.
So check out SkaTune Network, like, before you do anything. This guy is incredible. So just want to...
No, it warranted. Here, let's just leave Kiss Me on the board and see how swifty we can get here. Give me Fall Out Boy featuring John Mayer covering Michael Jackson's Beat It.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We know each other too well because I know you're either Googling that or not sure what I'm talking about. But John Mayer does a good job of recreating the another really similar to the guitar or the Cartel cover of the Oasis song. Mayer comes in and features on the track and just rips a crazy solo. It's a very hard rock version of the Michael Jackson song. And Beat It is such a rocking, like high energy, incredible song to begin with. Yeah, it was kind of one of those one-off single cover things where they just came together to like, lightning was striking or something. I don't think it was associated with an album or anything, if memory serves. But yeah, one of those, a cool John Mayer moment and a cool Patrick Stump moment, or I guess Fall Out Boy overall moment. Really good, really catchy, pretty special guitar work, I guess, which we didn't get a lot of in the 2000s. Like people go back to the 70s and, they look at the particular drummers and guitar work. I feel like we didn't have any too many single stars that were like really good, but every once in a while, Mayer would just remind the world what he was capable of. And he'd like randomly tour with BB King for 2 years or something. Anyway, yeah, he lays it down on that track for real. And it's a really good cover and it's special. It's a special recording.
Well, staying on theme with the former King of Pop, since we all know Brendan Urie has since claimed that title. Alien Ant Farm. No, I'm just kidding.
No. You bastard.
I'm not picking that.
No, you should.
No, I don't like it.
Oh, my God. Oh, well, thanks for reminding me. It wasn't even in my notes. Oh, my God. That video is so good, too. We should. Oh, my gosh. Because it's your turn, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yo, so you're not picking it?
No.
We got some mind games going this time. Kiss Me still on the board. So is that Alien Ant Farm cover. Oh my God, Sam McGarvey, the aloof student senate, he would always get elected to office for his class, but he was just like this spirit that his legs didn't move when he walked. He would just float in the hallways. He was he was just a beautiful man. He was just a great presence to have in the room.
I loved him so much.
Just spiritual being in every sense. But an inside joke we had, and I don't even know if it was a joke because I didn't get it. He could have been making fun of me this whole time, but he would just be like, Alien Ant Farm, and then he'd keep walking.
What?
But neither of us shared a moment of enjoyment over their music at any time, ever. He would just look at me. He'd look at me in the eye, he'd throw up the horns and say, Alien Ant Farm, in a voice he would never use for anything else, and then just go back to putting his hands in his cloak.
Dude, that is...
And stuff. I'm just kidding. He didn't wear a cloak.
But he did wear super long cardigans that could have looked like a cloak.
That's true. He could. You're right. I was just yeah, it was as if it was just God? No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, now I'm going to pick that later if you don't take it off the board. But the mind games on this particular draft are starting to mess with me, have been messing with me. You brought your A game this week, and I don't like it. I got to say, I don't like it a lot.
All right, so my fourth pick... Or is this fifth? We're in round 4 anyway, however drafts work. This is an early punk goes pop. And it's a weird one. I don't expect you to care at all, but Everywhere by Yellow Card.
No.
Oh.
God.
Really?
You're taking...
Really?
So there's the main tier, there's the tier 2 sleepers that I hope to steal from you, and that's where I really start to separate usually. And you have destroyed my pre-draft rankings. That's such a good pick, man.
Yeah.
Just because I was listening to The Road Taken by CT and Bayo, which is a Ringer podcast. They talk about touring. And their first couple episodes, they just went and had dinner with Patrick Carney of the Black Keys and his wife, Michelle Branch, I believe. And they got 2 episodes out of that evening. They recorded with him and then recorded with her as well, I think. But she talked about being a young singer-songwriter and kind of the burden of being an older songwriter performer now who people tend to fair or unfairly only know that song of hers, right?
Yeah.
They're play the one, it's okay, I will eventually, I have other ones, but it's such a good song. Man, sometimes I wish we could cover more songs. We've created the niche that's so narrow, but I would love to cover that or 1,000 Miles or some of the other, I guess, poppier hits.
Oh, yeah,
I guess.
sure.
Also, there's some Hillary Duff stuff that I'd love to talk about, but we'll see. Maybe we'll save that for special content for another day or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good one. Yellow Card just kind of kills everything that they do, and I think they did that song very well. Didn't stray too far from the original. They just added some energy in their own stuff, maybe a fiddle or two, and I like it.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, They had a good shtick. They really did. I don't know if we did an episode on them before, but that song, some songs, it's like the promise to me in the sense that it wasn't going to be a bad cover, no matter who did it, right? Like,
Right.
some songs just have a hook, have an edge, have an energy to them, and that one lent itself perfectly. They picked the right one to cover, which I'm sure is,
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you think? Is that like 50% or like 80% of a good cover song is who's choosing to do what?
Well, okay, so I was in the room when this is an honorable mention because it was too recent. It was 2013, I think. The band Youth In Revolt did Royals, a Lorde cover, and they were assigned that cover by the Punk Goes series. So they didn't get to choose it. So I'm wondering if Yellow Card at that time, maybe they were big enough to choose. Youth In Revolt wasn't a huge band, so maybe they just got the leftovers of whatever. Is it Victor? Who does Punk Goes? Victory? Whatever leftovers they could license or whatever. So I would honestly like to know if Yellow Card chose that song. But either way, it was the perfect fit for them. Just really nice.
Yeah.
A really nice cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. The next one.
But we're starting to get into the time where like 99 Red Balloons was in our rotation heavily. I think
Yeah.
we're starting to get to a tier where it's like, oh, I'm happy this exists, but was this important to me at any given moment? Like now that
Sure.
we're getting to the back half of the draft, I feel like there's a huge difference between, hero. Well, now there's some, never mind. I still have some stuff to pick that was important. So
Well,
it's a dangerous time to
yeah.
revisit some of these topics, Tom. I got to say, some of these episodes are very fun always, but not fun at all because it's like, where was I when okay. Yeah. Okay. Well,
so
yeah.
this next one was important to me at the time. A little band. I don't think we've talked about them ever. They're called Newfound Glory. Oh, dude, by the way, our friend Chris, I met him at Podcast Movement in 2017. Super good friend of mine. I think we're hanging out at Podfest in this week. He just bought tickets to the Newfound Glory Pop Punk Is Still Not Dead tour. And it'll be the 21st time he has seen Newfound Glory live. And not only that, I think he actually has a tattoo from the singer, from Jordan Pundick. He got tattooed by him.
Wow.
So, hey, Chris, I'm picking this one for you.
Hey.
Anyway, actually, Newfound Glory is probably the band I've seen the most. I saw them like 7 times in like 2 years because their shows were like $4 and they toured.
It's a credit to them.
6
They've been
times a
pounding the
year.
pavement, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get after it.
Totally. But the song I'm going to take, which I think is also Punk Goes, song was super important to me. I love the emotion. I don't even know who originally sang it, but The King of Wishful Thinking by Newfound Glory.
Oh?
Weren't expecting that, were you?
Are we going to not pick Kiss Me by the reason we did the episode? It's going to be off the board or on the board at the end of the day.
Which is why I'm glad
leaving
we chose
us
to do
be
this.
able to do. I did not expect that. Not at all. Not even for a gosh darn second.
All right.
Man. Okay. Newfound Glory remains on the board. The reason we even did the dang thing. Let's go here.
All right.
Let's go here. Let's go here. Wait, let's not go there.
Up.
What's the joke from childhood, from movies and stuff, where it's like, wait, I've got an idea. What's that? No, I've got nothing. Wait, I've got an idea. What's that? Wait a minute. No, I've got nothing. Oh, I've got an idea. Oh, do you? Anyway, sorry. Anyway.
The boy
I
who
still
cried
laugh
idea.
Like I wouldn't laugh at that in a movie today or something. Like these dumb kids, like just crying, laughing at Pixar movies and stuff. It's all fair game. And gleefully, happily. Okay. I've talked about this on the show before. We Will Become Silhouettes by the Shins, the cover.
Okay.
I referenced this earlier in the episode. I was going to pick 2 off Give Up. Not really planned, but it's kind of reaffirming how important Give Up was to me at the time. And we've done an episode on it. If you would like to go have a listen, or if you already have been with us since then, thank you very much. They brought a new life to it. It's just tremendous, and I really like it. I've talked about it before on the show, so I don't know how much detail I should go into at the moment. How about Tegan and Sara covering Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen? That one came out in 2006. I love that song. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. And I say that a lot, but one of my like favorite songs of all time, like legit Mount Rushmore potential. And their cover of it is just gentle and like puts you in a good place, I guess. I don't know. Tegan and Sara have a way of kind of just, I ain't nothing but tired. I'm just, or I ain't nothing. I'm going to butcher this, and I already have. I know you're not super familiar with Springsteen, but can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire, even if we're just dancing in the dark. Nothing. Anyway.
I kind of recognize the last melody there.
Sure, yeah, and I'm sure I didn't do a great job, but they do a great cover of it. And yeah, those are two that aren't on related to the three albums we keep joking about. It wasn't in the pop punk series, as far as I can tell. Neither of those two. I don't believe they were involved. I mean, obviously, it's not 4 Years Strong or Newfound Glory. So I feel good about those two picks because they are two that I believe I think you remember Groove Shark?
Oh my God!
Like when Pandora,
kind of.
When Pandora was still like getting launched, there was a few different radio stations. That was like my college newspaper. Like there was LimeWire stuff that you could like have been misnamed or whatever. I forget how I stumbled upon the Tegan and Sara cover, but I did, and I'm very thankful. But yeah, I got like I was in the Groove Shark community, it felt like, for like a 2 or 3 year period there. But anyway, kind of came across it and got good at it and was kind of, don't even remember not needing it anymore. I just obviously don't use it to this day. So there was a moment where it must have happened. But anyway, Groove Shark. Tweeted the show actually at _reminiscent_FM if you were a Groove Shark person, just because back before Pandora kind of took over the whole internet radio space, and obviously this would have been that nugget of time before pre-Spotify and everything like that. Yeah, it was kind of a Wild West situation. I felt like, I don't know if you, Tom, have any experience with those types of things, but it wasn't always just Pandora was the clear favorite for a minute there. But yeah, Tegan and Sara, Dancing in the Dark, and the Shins, We Will Become Silhouettes.
Because you do not like the Iron and Wine cover of...
I think the Iron and Wine cover can itself.
Whoa! Oh! Jesus Christ!
I mostly said it with that inflection to see what the bleep is going to sound like, just because so aggressive. No, it's fine, whatever. There was an acquaintance in college whose favorite band was Iron and Wine, and I'm like, how, man?
Oh, that's no one's favorite band.
Right. I don't want to get into it, but it was just like, come on. This guy, Iron and Wine, why? There's nothing even there. Anyway, those are my picks.
Wow, okay. Rounding out,
it's getting low.
Pick 6.
I'm gonna have to lean heavily on 4 Years Strong and Pump Goes.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
No, right?
No, I've got 2 in a row from Punk Goes. Give me Free Fallin' by the Almost.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh,
again, one of the greatest covers, Mount Rushmore. I didn't think
Tom Petty song.
Yeah.
Huh.
I didn't think you'd pick it. The Almost is Aaron Gillespie, the drummer and the clean vocalist from Under Oath. And
yeah, we have to do a Say This Sooner episode, quite honestly.
I heard that in the recordings, he performs everything himself, which is very impressive. He's insanely talented. And this cover of Free Fallin', again, it's not a huge departure from the original, but it's just like a modern take on it. Heavier guitars, more compression, quite a bit punchier, louder drums, and anyone who's listened to more than 5 episodes knows that I have a hard time really vibing with music that doesn't have modern production. So
which is why there's some Taylor Swift covers and Kelly Clarkson covers that would be on this list if we included 2011 through 2020, right? Because there's some like pop punk is not dead type bands that have gone back and kind of probably produced some of your favorite covers ever. And recently, I have to imagine.
There's a lot of.
That's not a knock. I'm just saying it's in your wheelhouse.
Right. There's a lot of great covers that happened after 2010 that I'm a huge fan of, but we're setting the
and
limit.
You're even working on your own pop punk cover album of Swift covers, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Just for funsies.
You mentioned Kelly Clarkson. I'm wondering,
would the Since You've Been Gone cover be fair play?
That's 2007.
Wait just a gosh darn.
And let me tell you, that was the first song I heard from A Day to Remember. I think it was either Sam Cray or Ryan's.
Did you just
Zimmerman?
pick them?
No,
Are you picking them right now?
No. I'm not picking
Should
Since
you?
You've Been Gone. But let me just say, Free
listen
Fallin',
to me.
first of all, Free Fallin' was the first time I ever heard two drums doing counterparts, pan stereo left and right. Super cool. But actually, you know what? Let me pick A Day to Remember for round 7.
I was going to say,
but I'm picking.
Just embrace it.
I'm picking
What?
Cable Car.
Okay, sure.
So not Since You've Been Gone. I think it was funny. My sister, we used to listen to the cover of Since You've Been Gone in the car, and she liked it better because I think it was tuned down a step and a half from Kelly Clarkson, because I think they were playing in drop D, so it was like more in my sister's vocal range. So she really liked the cover, but she like turned it off when it got to the screaming breakdown part.
Oh, that sounds about right, yeah.
But A Day to Remember, I actually joined Nail the Mix, which is like a music production training and whatever. They give you the raw tracks of music. So I got like the raw recordings of an A Day to Remember song and got to mix right back at it again, which is really cool. Their vocal production with Andrew Wade, who's the producer, is so good. Tons of harmonies. I mean, like Queen style harmonies, but they're buried in the mix for texture rather than at the forefront. So it's kind of a tragedy, but their cover of Cable Car is super good. And I honestly loved that song when it came out. And again, they just made a great song fit more into the genre that I like more than whatever the hell Cable Car is. And by Cable Car, I mean Over My Head, quote, comma,
Right.
Cable Car. So yeah.
By the Fray. So
Yes.
when our buddy Zach was playing with Tyler James in a band called Radio Empire, they were doing a recording session.
I forgot he
and
played
I remember,
with them.
Yeah, and Tyler James was like, "What do you think of this song?" Because he and I both like Weezer. Weirdly, like we're not good friends, but he like would recognize me in the scene and knew I like Weezer and asked my opinion about like occasionally. And I'd be like, "It's kind of a darker, like sludgier The Fray," and he was like, "Huh," and it really threw him through a fucking loop. Like, and he like, but he kind of liked it. I think he was just like, "Okay, yeah," but like the one song they happen to be recording at the moment. Anyway, The Fray, man, where are they going to go down in all of this? I don't even know if we need to cover it, but that's a whole other thing. Anyway, good pick, but Kiss Me and Since You've Been Gone are going to probably be on the board when the night's over, and it's
a
kind
little
of messing
sad.
with me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because right? Yeah, anyway, we'll see. Maybe we'll get desperate at the end. We haven't even gotten, I mean, we're still trucking along. But I would say it made it into a Scrubs episode, some Fray music. Anyone who was like, I think the same way about Daughtry. Like, I'd be shocked if everyone who talks as much smack as they do now turned those songs off the radio immediately every time they came on back in the day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, when Daughtry being like, "Careful what you wish for," I was, yeah, I fuck with that.
Dude,
Yeah.
Seth
and then some you don't want.
Seth and I loved Daughtry. We'd listen to it on the way to
Dude.
ski club junior year of high school.
And then when Fray came on, and you're back when like before it was more and more like, of course you don't really even need the radio at all anymore. I get that, but there was a time, young ones. Anyway, like if Cable Car came on, you were kind of like, score. I don't like. It was one of those songs you were like, I don't need to change the channel. Like there was like an effort versus reward thing. It's like, am I going to find something better than this if I leave? But then it'll be halfway over by the time I get back. If so there's like
that's
the
great.
game of it, which probably helped a lot of mid-level hit songs over the years, honestly, in terms of like certain bands' fame and everything. But anyway, if you were too good for the Fray then and always have hated them, good for you. But like, come on, you have one life to live. Ease up. Lighten up, Francis.
So, yeah, you're up.
Sure. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and strike while I can. What pick is this for me? Are you writing these down by chance?
You're on 7.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to take the Alien Ant Farm cover of Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson. Okay. Which leads me, I've learned two things. Give Up by the Postal Service was very important to me, which I guess I kind of already knew. And Michael Jackson. Maybe I'm a bigger fan than I thought I was because
The former king of pop.
this. Oh my God, dude. One of the most iconic moments of our show was you saying that, I think, for serious for a minute, and just the silence that ensued, neither of us really knowing how to proceed. This quarter? No. Yes, the music video has so many terrific homages to the king himself. And yeah, the guy has like an inverse mohawk in it. He like, instead of having a mohawk, he has a one strip shave down the middle of his head. But there's like a little, I don't know. They're like playing the set in a boxing ring, but the ropes are loose and the crowd is moshing and shaking the ropes the whole time. It's and they have this little kid that can do all the dancing really well. It's a freaking banger, man. And they bring it home. It's one thing to take on an MJ song or a Tom Petty. Like sometimes if you're like it's one thing to cover, no disrespect to Kelly Clarkson or The Fray or whatever, but it's one thing to cover those songs. It's like, oh, this is fun. Music is fun. It's another thing to go cover freaking like Billie Jean or, like to go cover Beat It or, you really have to nail it or else, there's the chance that you get it really wrong and it's going to be a bad look. So, kind of Alien Ant Farm's most famous song. But anyway, the drums in that, everything about it. I don't know. Is Alien Ant Farm nu metal?
I only know that cover of theirs.
I know, me too. It's their most famous song. There's I did a little YouTube wormhole like a decade ago, and I guess they played some set on some top of some building in some city at some point, and I'm realizing as I'm saying this sounds out loud, this is not helping anybody, so I'll stop it right there. But just terrific, good energy, fun to listen to, really great. Thanks for letting me have it, I guess. You could have easily taken it rounds ago, and it wasn't even on my list to begin with. So thank you. Here's where we're going to go next, okay? Because dude, 9 and 10, it's going to get weird, it's going to get sad, it's going to get unfortunate for a lot of people. But I'll sit here and I will say 4 Year Strong, So Much for the Afterglow.
Okay.
Because I remember you, and I tweeted this out to one of our buddies on Twitter recently. There was a moment where you were like, however much time you think you're spending with Everclear songs, it's not enough. Do more now, immediately.
Right.
And there was like this phase you went through, and you convinced me to But anyway, of course, as a 90s kid, you're somewhat familiar. But listening to that 4 Year Strong cover album, it opens up with the harmonies and everything. This is a song about Susan, just kind of reopened that door, and you're like, get to reappreciate way more Everclear songs just through like, oh, I should have been spending, like you said, taking your advice and done that way sooner. But we used to talk about, I don't know, it's a good song about lamenting of former love. I don't know, it's just being that age. All these songs are about the same 3 different storylines, but they're just recycled over and over. And this is a good version of one of them. I like it a lot.
Everclear was a band that I found out about really late, like maybe 2012 when I was working at Northside Social. I was the youngest by a lot. Everyone was like 8-9 years older than me. And there's this guy, Brian, that like Everclear was his guilty pleasure. And life's too short, man. Frey is a guilty pleasure, I guess, but Everclear's not a guilty pleasure. No, I mean, my first dance with my wife was to Everclear. So.
Yeah. I remember I had to MC your wedding because whoever was going to do it was not there. And I remember being like, and they're going to dance to this song. And if anybody has anything to say about it, that's Grammy nominated work, so you should need to watch your mouth. I don't know. I just had a quick jib. I don't know. I shouldn't have said anything, but I was like, I wanted the crowd to know I love the song as well. I was just happy for you because it was your wedding day. But but I actually don't really love the song So Much for the Afterglow. So yeah. I don't know. I just this is a song about the way things were, the way things are. I don't know. It says stuff that you've felt and known and thought so plainly and so catchy and so rocks so hard. Sometimes it just landed with me. I can't really explain it, but it just landed.
Let me ask you, so they kind of changed the rhythm of the chorus where 4 Year Strong has equal length on every syllable, so much for the afterglow, whereas Everclear is like so much for the afterglow. And I feel like A Day to Remember kind of hits that melody in a way that I find more intriguing. So
I think there is something to be said for the shoot from the hip 90s stuff. I think the 90s are going to go down as a way better music decade than a lot of people think, or maybe they think that now.
Totally.
But there was a spirit of the singer-songwriter stuff with probably primarily women, honestly. Alanis Morissette, all the people not Sarah Bareilles. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to be able to think of the names, but probably Alanis Morissette is like the good example of the last of the Joni Mitchell era, like good singer-songwriter. Not necessarily on time with everything, but then like, but so much for the afterglow, and he's like wants to get the lyric out so he can rock harder and appropriately during this. Like, there's like something to be said for not being able to play your instrument that well, and you need to get the words out, but you're still in time and still in the vibe of the song. But you can picture him live saying so much for the afterglow, bow, bow, so he can get to like move his hands on the fret or something, or on the fretboard appropriately. That's what I picture in my head anyway. But there's a live element to it. You can imagine the band doing it. There's something about the over-polishedness of the covers we've been referencing that would have come out way later than the time period we're discussing. It's too perfect. I don't like robotic drums. I don't like the Since You've Been Gone stuff. Since You've Been Gone's a good song, so I don't dislike the cover, but there's something about the overproduced stuff that I know you like, and we differ on almost everything in this world when it comes to liking things, anything. But we're buds, it doesn't really matter. I don't like it. I learned to appreciate the Everclear version that much more because I got to hear a different take on it, and then I got to revisit it, and and then you go explore kind of that, like, they kind of write the same song over and over, that simple like one riff, guys singing about boots and kind of problematic lyrics about growing up in certain neighborhoods and stuff. Not kind of legitimately problematic, but different era, I guess. I don't know. That's a different discussion for a different day. But learn to appreciate it more, I'd say. But I don't necessarily like, for example, the Taylor Swift covers of
Blank Space.
That Blank Space cover that I can't think of the...
I prevail. It's not good.
Gotcha. Okay. But you know what I'm talking about. Because I've made the argument that there was a moment where certain pop punk got cookie cutter. And I think you know what I'm referencing.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't... Whether it's fair or not, it's how I feel. I think there's a nugget of truth in there somewhere. But it's still a half-baked idea as it stands. But yeah, I learned to appreciate the other one more. That's all. I'm rambling at this point. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Well, there is also a very fine line between well-produced and overproduced. And sometimes
sure.
It's hard to find that line and not be tempted to step over it. But anyways...
Plus, taste is subjective. Taste is subjective,
sure.
So some people might love it. So what are you going to do?
Well, it's funny because I'm actually starting to back off of the overproduced stuff.
And it comes down to the song, because you love that live Cartel version of Oasis's, Wonderwall. So, like, you could say I'm more for this, but then there's that one live cover. So really, it's song by song. I don't know. There's no reason to really paint with a broad brush on a lot of things. Life's too short, like we've mentioned a lot on this episode. But generally, I like I like envisioning the Everclear band not being good enough at their to like have to adjust for certain things playing live. And, just as they grew as a band and stuff, I think they re-recorded all their songs for one of their greatest hits albums where they have like a softer take on all their hits later. But yeah, I like them both a lot. I like them both a whole hell of a lot.
Cool. I have a pick that I think you outwardly spoke out against. It is Hey Ya by Obadiah Parker.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we heard about it. Oh, it was I think it was Alive with the Glory of Love, because we were talking about Scrubs and the scene where is it janitor and lady get married and Ted is playing the guitar. And I remember Googling, like, can I find this performance? And then someone was like, kind of, but there's also like another version. And Obadiah Parker, I think, is the name of the band, not the dude. There's two versions. There's just acoustic, and then there's like an orchestral one. I think just the acoustic one is good. Hey Ya was like, it came out when I was deep into my Linkin Park stuff, and I just like hated that song. I had this vivid memory of being at a cast party, which is like, my mom did theater. After weekend nights, they would go party, and I was kind of younger, early teens, so I'd have to go with my mom and kind of hide in a bedroom somewhere as they all got shit-faced, and it was super awkward. But I had her phone, and I don't know if people remember at the time, there was only like the polyphonic like chiptune ringtones. And obviously this is before Apple Music. So I would go onto my mom's phone and listen to chiptune versions of Linkin Park because I was just so sad. Nice. But I remember Hey Ya playing at this party and just being like people's happiness makes me so angry. And then going up and listening to Linkin Park chiptune on my mom's Nokia brick phone.
Oh, man. Sometimes I don't think we're going to be able to top our 2000s sentences. And that's got to be one of the best. That's got to be one of the best we've ever laid down. I just cheers to you. Brava. Well done. Holy shit. That's a hell of a sentence.
And I think my mom had like a $200 phone bill for using like 200 kilobytes of data. But anyways.
Man, did you listen? It's kind of like, what would be more embarrassing? Going to a hotel and be like, did you watch this pornographic film? And they say the name out loud, like in front of other guests. Or, ma'am, did you listen to Numb by Linkin Park 30,000 times in the last 4 months? But the polyphonic version, not even the real version.
The 30-second sample of the chiptune.
Oh my God. The reason I don't like the Hey Ya cover is because there was the era of music I listened to where it was me playing Snood talking on AIM. I've referenced it on the show before. Hey Ya by Outkast was, some songs it's like, no man, just leave it be. That's why I'm surprised. Like, that's why I said earlier, like, if you're going to cover a Michael Jackson song, you can't fail. You know, you're big game hunting. It's super risky. And he went after Hey Ya, and on an acoustic guitar, it gets pretty repetitive with, I don't know.
A little bit.
Like if you're getting towards the hip hop side of like the musical universe, you know, you're getting looped beats and this and that and, you know, different type of production, different strategy, I'm guessing. But at a certain point, it's him singing over the same guitar riff over and over. And it's like, it's cool that you did it, but it's not cool because you did it. I don't know.
Sure.
It's like,
yeah, I get that. But
that's just my take on it. But again, it's Snood era stuff. So I know I'm going to be like overprotective of it, but you know, he did okay. But to me, it's like the Iron and Wine thing. You just did play it with an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
You didn't necessarily do a good job with it.
I think I also relate it to the warm moment from Scrubs. So there's probably a bit of that as well. But going in the complete opposite direction, Party in the USA by Life on Repeat. This wasn't a big band.
When did that come out?
2009.
I'm going to you on that.
2009.
Oh, no.
Which I would have thought it was later.
No.
Do you know that cover?
No.
Okay. Okay, Life on Repeat was like, I don't even know. They were like pop rock, but the guitars were heavier, like almost melodic, not even melodic hardcore. It's very interesting. The music is heavy and the singing is pretty. And they did this like easy core-ish cover of Party in the USA, and the guitar work is beautiful. I have a really embarrassing story about Life on Repeat. My friend Sebastian in college introduced me to them in like 2011, and I loved their album. And Taylor Larson, who I used to work with a little bit in Bethesda, Maryland, recorded them. So I really love this album. And there was one, it was actually New Year's Eve, and I was like, my buddy Shane, one of the musical Sherpas, like pulled me out of the house to go to this New Year's Eve party with his brother and this dude Andrew, and he's like, hey, this is my buddy Andrew, sweet, hey, what's up? So we get in the car and I have my like cassette adapter, and I was like, dude, listen to this band Life on Repeat, they are so fucking good. And they all start laughing in the car, and I was like, what? And he's like, I play guitar in Life on Repeat. And it was like so fucking embarrassing, because then I was like, oh, well then let's not listen to it. He's like, no, let's listen to it. Like,
oh no, that's awesome. Was he cool about it though?
Oh, he was great. He was a super nice guy, and he was just like, I'm glad you like it. I was like, I'm honestly so embarrassed right now.
Oh. I'm sure it's one of those things that you think about it more than they would. Because why would they be embarrassed? You complimented their art.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're in the clear. I'm a third party here to say you can take that out of the rotation of shit that keeps you up at night.
Okay.
So.
But their cover of it is so good. So good. I don't think it's on Apple Music, by the way, which is upsetting.
Okay. There's a version of that song that got mixed with Party and Bullshit by Biggie Smalls, which is, hyperbole aside, one of my favorite party slash to work out to upbeat stuff. Like some of this is like your favorite songs of all time, but some of this is just like there's something about the mixture of those noises that makes my body react in a like positive way. The Biggie Smalls, Miley Cyrus, that's, you know, it wouldn't it doesn't fall into this episode at all. But yeah, there's something about Party in the USA, which I actually, back when we were still trying to figure out the show, I don't know if you ever heard of Motern Media, or the guy that writes tens of thousands of Spotify songs a year and makes a pretty good living off of it. Makes good movies too. His name's Matt. The company's Motern Media, but Matt came on and we had a discussion about the song and the lyrics and how it was originally written for someone else, but that's not for here or now because we're probably running long per usual.
Yeah, we're going long these days. But anyways, you have rounds 9 and 10 to finish it off.
All right. Y'all ready for this?
I am. Oh, you know what? My band, The Good Fight, used to cover Y'all Ready for This. I wish there's a video of that on YouTube, actually. I'm going to have to put that in the show notes because it was a lot of fun.
I think you should.
Anyways.
Okay, Umbrella by All Time Low.
Oh, okay.
The Rihanna cover. I've been delaying the Pop Goes stuff till the end here. I'm going to say that one. Man, I want to switch out because I get to my honorable mentions always end up better than my original list. Let's go. Man, that was such a good "Everywhere" by Michelle Branch pick on your part. I'm gonna say "I Want to Love You" by The Maine because I made this joke on the show before, and it's one of my favorite things ever. At the end of that song, they try to do the sign off phrases that they yell away from the mic, like "I ain't going back to jail." Through one, yelling out area codes and but it's just like white dudes in the Maine
and they're
doing
joking
it. And
is the thing. Like
no, it's tongue in cheek, but it always struck me as just like even cringeworthy, even as a joke. I always thought if we're going to do a version of that for this show, but there would be under no circumstances for me to reference this, but I've figured out a way to do it twice now. This will be number 2. Is for us would be yelling something like "We sad as homie," just like. But again, alas. Again, there's not a ton of opportunities for me to bring that up, but I'm going to pick that song just so I get to tell that and work that into the episode again. I forget the first time I brought that
Dude,
up. Probably during the Punk Goes episode.
I knew where you were going with the call out thing, but I forgot what the phrase was. So that was beautiful. I love it.
We sad as homie.
So anyway, stay tuned for the bonus track of this episode, but
yeah, I guess so. I'll run through my honorable mentions.
Well, I got one more, dude. Jesus.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
Okay. If you pick "Kiss Me" by Newfound Glory, I am gonna die.
"Afternoon Delight" by Van Atta High.
Ooh.
Do you remember that?
Okay. I don't remember the cover, but
so
I remember I remember Anchorman putting that song back on the map. Do you ever see that meme where it was like, y'all say you hate memes, but all you ever do for humor like 10 years ago was just scream quotes from Anchorman at each other while standing in a circle.
Right.
And that just made me chuckle because of the accuracy. Anyway.
So I have no idea how I heard this cover. Absolutely none. But it's like it's pop punk, kind of easy core. It's like so catchy and the harmonies are dope. Never heard anything by this band ever, but they do a sick cover of "Afternoon Delight," and I'm very happy to close out the episode with that.
Yeah, I'd say so. How's your honorable mention list holding up?
Well, my honorable mentions are all more modern songs. Those are the only 10 I had, so I'm glad that you didn't take any.
Okay, the honorable mention list starts with "Kiss Me" by Newfound Freaking Glory, right? Yep. What else do we have here? "Ironic" by 4 Year Strong, and "Roll to Me." "Roll to Me" by 4 Year Strong, I was really pumping to because I feel less comfortable talking about this stuff than you do on the show, but pursuing a lady who was involved or whatever. So the lyrics, "Is the right time to roll to me" type stuff was just like, yeah, it is the right time to roll to me. So I hear you, Del Amitri, being covered by 4 Year Strong. Secret Handshake, their cover of Ski-Lo's "I Wish," was definitely like the start of the end for this era, I feel like, because we were starting to get, like, All Time Low was like, you could kind of convince yourself that this was still good stuff. And it was. But then there was like Breathe Carolina and Secret Handshake and like some of the auto-tune. Not that Attack Attack was bad, but like there was just a late. We haven't even touched that era yet, so I feel weird even talking about it before we even really properly do it. But anyway, their cover of I Wish was pretty good, I thought. You already picked Yellow Card. Atari's Boys of Summer. That actually came out in 2000, so it would have been eligible. Probably one of the classic covers from that era, no matter how you split it, right?
I don't know that band or that song at all.
Gotcha. Anyway, actually, the other one I had written here, it's not pop punk, but John Mayer also covered Free Fallin' in 2008. So I think that's kind of interesting. Speaks to Tom Petty's prowess for sure. Rest in peace, rest in power. Yeah, that's my honorable mentions list.
Dope. Mine are all, again, too modern. The Fight Night, again, the rest of their music isn't very good, but in 2011 they did a cover of F*** You by CeeLo Green that is phenomenal.
Whoa, another good song.
Yeah. Abandoned by Bears recently did a cover of We Are Never Getting Back Together by Taylor Swift, which is super good. A YouTuber named Alex Melton also did that cover where he was playing every instrument. Recording quality is a little weird. He kind of looks at the camera too awkwardly sexually, and it's kind of awkward, but it's fun. He did a good job. The band I mentioned previously, Youth In Revolt, did a cover of Royals by Lorde that was super good. The drums sound sick. There's a random breakdown that doesn't really seem to make sense, but I'm totally there for it. And then just today, I discovered Seaway did a cover of Hand in My Pocket by Alanis Morissette, and it is so good. So those are my honorable mentions. So good.
Yeah, you sent me a link to that one. It was honestly terrific.
I love Seaway. They're so great. But we went super long, so I don't want to really belabor this too much. But I took some video during recording to throw on the Patreon, patreon.com/reminiscent. You can find some behind the scenes bonus materials there. And you can find the Apple Music playlist for this on our show notes, reminiscentpodcast.com. And what are your songs of the week?
This is the 1975 song called Me and You Together song off of this year's record of theirs called Notes on a Conditional Form. You know, it's pleasant. It's nice.
Nice. 1975 is so sick. Taylor, the producer I mentioned, was like really into them when I was working with him, and it contributed to a lot of his drum sounds. And Ernie Slankovich was always playing the drum beats from that. Really cool hi-hat work. I love that band, but I don't listen enough, so I'll have to check that out. And I was getting my hair cut the other day, and I Shazammed a song that was on, and it was called Bad Checks by Houses. And it's like just so mellow, kind of like white boy mellow hip-hop singing over some really nice beat. I don't know. It's really funny because it's about like not wanting to be a millionaire, but just like wanting to live like one. So like, it, I'll write a bad check to pretend I'm a millionaire for a second. And I just think it's like funny and quaint, and it's a good song. So,
and you got to eat Wagyu beef with a famous musician in Vegas one time. So you've seen the other side.
Right. $150 strip of steak. So, oh yeah, I know the other side. I can tell you kids all about it. Right?
That's
with
right.
the drummer of Creed.
Have we? I don't know. Save that story for another day. I don't know if you've even told it on the show.
I don't think I'm allowed to tell that full story. Is the thing.
Oh, well, so. I guess we should end the show then. Everybody, thank you. There's people listening. There's many people listening. They have been listening for a while now. Not that there weren't a lot. Surprisingly a lot to begin with, but it's been snowballing and picking up, and it's truly shocking, and we are truly grateful. So thank you, Tom. I love you very much, and I'll see you next week, buddy.
All right, love you too, man. See ya. All right, everybody, I am back from my 3.5 weeks out of town. I dead might actually have coronavirus, which is fun. So subscribe to the show before I die. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/reminiscent. A couple behind the scenes things, bonus stuff, things that we're not putting out on the show. And tweet at us at _reminiscentfm. Let us know what songs would make it into your early 2000s pop punk cover draft. You know that talking to you all on Twitter is the most fun part of this show. So we'll see you there, and we'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.